In this episode you finally get to see the villain Tom. This time he overstepped his bounds and attacked the boys in a way they never expected. Will Setsu succeed in defeating the villain, or will the moment of surprise pay off? We're about to find out. Once upon a time in the past when Setsu became so much of a hero. He trained the daughter of the king of the beastmen Ro in the art of sword fighting. She was just a little girl then, but very brave nonetheless. She may not have been very good with a blade, but she had a lot of spirit. In the present, however, a dispute developed in the House of the Beastmen government. Some of the heads of parliaments were saying that it was urgent to declare war on humans and demons in return. Otherwise, if they slowed down, they would be easily defeated. Others, on the other hand, said it was better to take a defensive stance. So that if someone did attack them, they could at least defend themselves, but they shouldn't engage in open confrontation. Because here, too, there's a good chance that they will be easily destroyed. It is not clear what forces their enemies have. And the third ones declared that it is necessary to declare war only people and to make an alliance with monsters. But even this position was disputed by many. It was up to the ruler to end all this vehement argument, only his word would be the last. While the adults continued to bicker, Ro decided to run a quick errand. That same day, Setsu and his crew arrived on Beastman Island. He tried to get into the king's residence, but the guards wouldn't let him in. No wonder, his appearance was not trustworthy. Despite the guy's entreaties, the guards couldn't believe the former hero Setsu was standing in front of them. Yeah, it wasn't a good situation. The team was already desperate and ready to turn around to leave the area and come up with some other plan. But then Ro came crashing down on them from above. It turns out that she realized while she was still in the castle that her mentor was standing near the walls. That's why she took off so abruptly and ran outside. She missed Setsu very much since they had seen each other for years. The girls were shocked that the guy had such influential acquaintances. A cute meeting was ruined by Ro when she tried to attack Setsu. That was their usual greeting, though. After all, whenever they met, he trained the girl to make her stronger. And each time she was better and better at it. But no matter how hard she tried, she could not defeat the master this time either. Thanks to the king's daughter, the boys managed to get into the palace. There they were met by the king himself, who was very happy to see Setsu. It turned out that they had fought together shoulder to shoulder in the past. Although Setsu has changed, as he has been reborn, the beastmen can easily identify him by his scent. The king wanted to hold a celebration in honor of the hero's return. But the boys stopped him in time, because he didn't come for fun, but for important business. Setsu shared with the king his hunch that Toma, their chief villain, is clearly alive. He was the one who had sparked the war between humans and demons. The king already wanted to offer his help to the team to defeat the villain together. He himself could not go with them, as he had no right to leave the kingdom without a ruler, and he wanted to send his daughter. But then the commander-in-chief of the army burst into the hall, who was against any help at all. After all, according to the idea, demons and humans are both enemies of the beastmen. Especially now, in such difficult times, you can't trust anyone. Opinions were divided on two sides. The commander-in-chief of the army and Ro's fiancé at the same time, did not want to let the girl go with Setsu. Ro, in turn, trusted the guy, so she was determined to help the team in the battle against evil. To make the final decision, it was decided to resolve the dispute in the usual way of beastmen, to have a duel. This duel will also be decisive in the question of the girl's marriage and will determine which of the guys for her will be a worthy groom. In fact, it is not very interesting for Setsu to get Ro as his wife. But it is in his best interest to take her with them on the journey, as help would certainly not be superfluous. The commander-in-chief of the army was a strong enough warrior, but he is no match for the great hero Setsu. Regardless, he cannot back down and will fight, especially since one of the mages from the east gave him a rune that turns will into strength. And so the day of the duel came. The duel began, with Luger attacking first. No matter how hard he tried, Setsu easily repulsed all his blows. Then the commander-in-chief decided to use a conversion and turned himself into a big blue wolf. Even so, he couldn't deal with the hero, he just grabbed him by the tail and fell to the ground. Setsu offered to end the duel there, because how much longer can we fight in vain? He doesn't want Ro's heart anyway. No, Luger won't give up that easily. He may lose, but he will lose with dignity. He decided to use the rune. It took all of his negative feelings and turned them into one powerful energy. The rune turned out to be a tricky one. It was the curse of Toma. The wolf swept Setsu into the wall with a whiff. A simple duel turned into a real brawl. The hero used his sword to cut off the wolf's arm, but it grew back from his body. The onlookers scattered in fear. The duel was called off, but Luger couldn't stop. Setsu decided to summon a swallower to swallow Toma's curse. Suddenly a purple haze appeared in place of the wolf's head, through which Toma could be seen. He saluted the hero and insulted everyone in the square. He seemed to think he was a real god, who could do whatever he wanted. It was clear from the conversation that Toma had some kind of brotherly feelings for Setsu. He wanted to make him happy and was angry that the boy had once left him alone. But the hero was against it, because Toma achieves his goals through the suffering of others. That's terrible, it's not right. Since the hero refused to cooperate with Toma, he would continue the war, and with it the destruction of the whole world. Will the great hero be able to cope this time? Will he be able to save everyone? In the end, a harmless friendly duel turned into a day of mourning, for Luger was dead after all. Now the final decision was definitely made, Ro would go with the boys.